Hey, what's going on YouTube? Alabama Reloader here. um, so we're gonna take a short break from the 350 Legend stuff that we've been working on. Here's some of those 170 grain Hornady interlocks. I loaded up some earlier. I've got to get out to the range and test some of those rounds using. I've got a few different powders I'm wanting to try out. But today's video is going to be basically an update for 270 Winchester. Things we've already tried, where we're gonna kind of move forward and what we're gonna test and all that. So if you'll remember these guys right here. So I worked up some loads. Go back, watch the other videos. Worked up some loads. The hunting load with the 180 grain from Woodley. This is the heaviest 277 diameter bullet that I'm aware of. And I mean, look at the sectional density, 334. It's insane on the sectional density. And then the recommended impact velocity from Woodley. But this is definitely overkill for hunting deer in Alabama, for sure, overkill. But I just wanted to see if my rifle could handle those bullets and go as heavy as possible, which it can. It's a Steyr Pro Hunter stainless. And it's got a 1 in 8.5 inch twist barrel. So it's got a faster twist barrel than what a lot of the vast majority of your factory 270 Winchester rifles. I think they have just a little bit slower twist on the barrels, which creates issues. If you'll go watch Hunt Simple, that dude has an entire 270, he calls it Project 270 playlist, and man, you can learn a ton from that guy. And he's tried different factory 270 Winchesters, and he was trying to push like some 160 grain, 150 grain bullets. He was having some issues, just couldn't get the consistency in terms of accuracy and things that he was looking for. And basically the conclusion he came to was he really needed to dial it back down, maybe to the 130s and 140s, which is what the 270 was really designed around, that 130 grain bullet. That's where it really shines. So that's kind of the approach that he's taken. And we are stepping down to the 130s, but it's not like we have to. We're shooting sub MOA with the 180 grain. Now, albeit 3-shot groups, which I'm not a huge fan of 3-shot groups, but in this case, with that particular rifle, again, hunting setup, 3-shot groups are perfectly fine for the hunting that I do, the distances that I shoot, so it's not a big deal. But they're coming in well under an inch with, I think it was like maybe H4831 maybe is the powder that we used, 50 grains of H4831, and we're pushing those roughly 2,400 feet per second. So actually really slow for the 270 Winchester, but it's a 180 grain bullet. So sectional density is outstanding. Can't wait to see what it does to a deer and or hog. But this is an update, a 270 Winchester update video. So look at this guy. Look at this. All right, y'all start laughing. Now, look at that. BSA, baby. Yeah, not exactly this, BSA optics, it doesn't necessarily scream quality, reliability, dependability, durability, whatever ability you want to throw out there. BSA doesn't exude that. If you'll go back, there's a video on the channel about a BSA scope that we had issues with, where the reticle, literally the thing just broke inside. And I did actually finally send that off to BSA, although it hadn't really been that long. It's only been maybe a month since I actually shipped that thing back to BSA. So Birmingham Small Arms. So we'll see. I sent off the, I believe that for their warranty / repair thing, I think you have to send off the product. Obviously give a reason as to what the issue is. I basically said, look through the scope and you'll see. Because it didn't even survive like 15 rounds of 308, and then the thing just busted. And it was supposed to be one of their tactical rifle scopes. So hopefully we'll get that back. And then you have to send in a check, I believe, for $10 to cover return shipping. So hopefully we'll get that back sometime soon. I can do an update video on it. But this scope was pretty cheap. It was like $70. I just thought it was interesting. I wanted to get it just to see if we would have good luck, right? If we were going to be one of the lucky few people that maybe got a solid product from BSA and the thing worked like it was supposed to. And the reason I did this was I wanted a decent hunting scope. You know, I could go with a low power variable optic or whatever. That's what I have on a couple other rifles that I hunt with, but I just thought this was kind of interesting. It comes with a couple of different turret selections up here. These are, I think that's 130 grain and the other one is 150 grain. So what you do, it tells you the velocity that you need to have your bullet. Let's see. So it comes with 3 turrets, 100 grain, 130 grain, 150 grain. And it does tell you on there, I think it's like, it gives you a velocity target that you need to try to hit. And then once you do that and you zero your rifle, then depending on the distance you want to shoot, you just dial to that number, right? Like if the deer's 200 yards, you turn 200 yards and then pull the trigger. So really I got this just to see if this thing would actually work, right? We're going to work up loads using the 130 grain for the velocity recommendations that they provide, and then we're going to go out and test it. So I think that's going to be fun. But the components that we're going to be using, we were able to snag some SIG brass. This is good stuff, by the way, really good stuff. It ranks right up there with Starline brass, in my opinion. I mean, just in overall quality. I've had really good luck with this stuff in 308 and 223, and now 270 Winchester is the third cartridge that I'm using it in. And these 50 pieces, I went through and checked with the Lyman flash hole deburring tool. Didn't remove any material. So I have no idea what witchcraft they do to pull that off, but the only other brass that I've ever tried that has that same result is Lapua. So not exactly sure how they're able to accomplish that, but they did. So kudos to them. Even Starline, which Starline's very little material that I remove, you know, burrs or anything on the flash hole. But this stuff, there was none. Absolutely none. So I was impressed. Just the overall quality of the brass, you know, it's always been pretty solid in the other 2 cartridges I've tried it in. So that's going to be our brass. We're going to be using Federal gold medal match large rifle primers. And then the powder selection, I really want to just focus on this stuff. I've got about 1.5 pounds of it, and I just want to burn through it in 270 Winchester and really try. I mean, I want to ring it out pretty good and give it every opportunity to perform really, really well. Mostly because, you know, they're pretty confident in it. They put it right there on the bottle, ideal for 6.5 Creedmoor 270 Winchester. So we have a 270 Winchester. So let's give it a shot. Let's see if it lives up to the label on the bottle. So that's all we're doing. For the bullets that we're using, man, we got hooked up by this guy named Ken out in Bend, Oregon. Okay, a long way from North Alabama, I can promise you that. He had posted over on Armslist. He had some different Nosler bullets for sale. You know, 277 diameter. He had 300, 130 grain Nosler solid base. These are an older style bullet that they used to make. They don't make these anymore in 270, 277 diameter. I think they might still make them in a couple of different diameters, but not many at all. They don't offer these that much, I don't think. I think they went by way of the Dodo and gave way to something else, like a ballistic tip or a AccuBond or something. I have no idea, but you can go look up bullet history from Nosler if you want to do that. So 300 of those, and then 200, 130 grain Nosler Partitions. So, you know, you don't really have to say much there. Nosler Partition, pretty much one of the best hunting bullets you're ever gonna shoot. So we got a couple hundred of those. So we have 500 bullets total. And he hooked us up with this pretty sweet kind of old school somewhat, RCBS die set for 270 Winchester. So that was pretty cool. So big shout out to Ken on that. But that's kind of where we're going. That's what we're up to on 270 Winchester. You know, just stick around. There'll be more videos to come for it. So right now, all I'm doing is I'm going through, running all this brass through the Hornady, full length size and die. I'm just running it up over the expander ball to make sure all the case mounts are uniform. I mean, you can tell they came out of the bag really, really nice. So nothing too crazy there on the case mouth, but we just want to make sure everything's from basically a consistent starting point. So that's what we're going to do. Then I'm going to trim everything to the same length, which so far I'm on the 5th case. Nothing's needed trimming yet, so everything's coming in under the trim length. So that's good. And then I'll do a chamfer deburr, brush out the case mouth, and then I'll get to loading. So that's it. That's the update. Y'all stay tuned. Really intrigued about this little guy. I'm hoping that we get a good copy and the thing actually works like it's supposed to. So y'all stay tuned for that. I'm looking forward to that most of all out of what we got going on. So, all right, we'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a good one.